Good afternoon, guys. Thought I'd jump on today and backtest through today's price action. It's been a good day with plenty of opportunity, so I thought I'd jump on and just show you what I saw. I didn't take all of these trades. I did take a couple. But yeah, so we're still in this daily demand here. Haven't really moved much since my last video. If we've gone a 4 hour, you can see we tapped into this extreme POI. Just move this. Okay, so we've tapped into the extreme 4 hour POI. We've had a large reaction, but it's failed to break structure. Therefore, this low is weak. We've tapped into this supply here. So now, following order flow, we're expecting this low to go, as this is weak. Okay, so yeah, we tapped into this refined 15-minute supply, these buy to sell wicks, and as you can see, we're coming down slowly. And what you can see from this price action here is the momentum. So as you can see, this was, I think it was FOMC or something, but basically took like half an hour to come down, and then to come back up it took 14 hours. And then yeah, so we can see obviously we're still bearish here, heavily bearish. So coming into 7 o'clock on Monday morning, I'd be looking at this supply as a possible supply to take it short. Got some inducement here. And for longs, I was looking at, well, to be honest, I wasn't looking at taking longs because of this weak low. But for targets, as we've come off of this daily extreme, we could always react to something down here. And what I saw down here was that we got this demand that has swept this liquidity. Sorry, that's a sweep. So that's swept this demand here. So this is the valid POI. See if we can refine it down. Okay, so we can refine it down to this candle here. It's had a slight tap in, but it could come down to this last bullish candle, possibly. Maybe some inducement. So yeah, that'd be my target for shorts. Obviously you could play it straight to the week low, but this is an area of interest where we could see a reaction. And coming into 7 o'clock in the morning, we're in this range here. We've got buy side liquidity created. As you can see, we've had a sweep of this high. Then what's happened is we swept the high, failed to come down, and now we can see that we've pushed up, broke this minor high here. And what broke the high was this demand. I'm marking minor structure so we can see who's in control here and look for possible entries. I mean, you don't need to wait for a higher time frame POI when you know who's in control, because basically if supply is in control, you should see supply respected, and same with demand. So it's obviously, it depends on your strategy. You need to backtest it yourself and find your own edge, find your own what works for you. But yeah, so as we can see, we got supply here, which is currently being respected, but then so is demand. So we need to wait for more clear signs of intention from the market. So this is 6:45. It's gone to 5 minutes now. So if you look on a 5 minute, we can see we've had a tap into demand, and then we've had a failed reaction, which means that the reaction point has been swept. But then also, if you go to the supply up here, we've had a tap in and a failed reaction as well. So at the minute, they're both failing. No one's in control really, based on this lower time frame. So I'd just be waiting for either of these to show their intentions. If it was good to go long, I wouldn't be looking to take that, as we're in premium of the 15-minute leg, or around the middle somewhere. Where are we? So yeah, we're in the premium, and I wouldn't be looking to buy this high up, especially with the supply just here. So if we go on the 5 minute again, time is 6:55. Okay, now that's some real intention. What we can see is we've had the failed reaction, and then it's taken out the whole of this demand completely. What caused this? I'd say it was this supply wick here. Can we refine it down? Yes, we can. That's a nice 2 minute candle, and we can even refine it to the wick. So how big is that? Okay, 2 pips. So what I'd do is I'd put my order on there. 2 pips is fine. If you want, you can cover the high a bit more, allow for spread. And yeah, so that'd be my first order in there, based off of the flip of this demand, and wanting to see all of this buy side liquidity swept. So we come back up, tap in, and obviously the first target is this low here, and final target would be this demand down here. Yeah, as I said, you can see a reaction from here. So let's see what happens. Okay, so we come down. I'm going to mark up our first target here. Okay, and then what has this tapped into after coming down? It's tapped into this doji. So what you could say is we had another flip. This has then failed. And what caused the failure? It was this. Let's see, how big is this? Okay, I'd look on the 1 minute here and place my entry there. 1.5, 1.6 pips, yep. Okay, so we get a tap in. That's our second trade tapped in. Make these a bit smaller. Okay, second trade tapped in. Come straight down. Okay. And we can say again, what has this tapped into? Let's have a look through the time frames. Nothing clear there. Just going up to see, there must be some demand that this is tapped into to get a strong reaction like this. And as you can see, we're getting something. Okay, so it's this 15-minute bullish demand here, which is the refinement of this demand here. So as you can see, we've tapped in, came back up, and then failed. So that's another failed reaction and a flip. So where can we enter? Well, what actually caused the failure is this supply here. Obviously you've got 2 points, this extreme, this point here, and the wick. It came down, but it failed to put in a new low. So, and it failed to break this reaction point at all. So for me, I'd be looking at this all day. 2.1. Can we refine it down? Not really. I'd be happy with that, to be honest. Cover that by a tick. Stick on our first target. Okay, we come down, tap into something else maybe. And there we go, in the trade. So we come down, and there we go. So we're now in 3 positions. We've tapped into something else here. So what have we tapped into? Let me see if there's anything unmitigated. Okay, we've got this 1 minute demand. Did that tap in? Yep. Okay. As you can see, we tapped in. We respected this demand perfectly. We've then pushed off, failed again. Okay. So we're in 3 trades. And now our first target has been hit. So here I'd be taking off 50% of each trade. And I'll be holding the rest until TP2, which is down here at this demand. Oops. So what caused this failure? So if you look on the 1 minute, you can see obviously same situation here where price came down and this caused it. But in this situation, we've got all these different supplies. I'd be looking at the higher time frames for clarity, and there's only one thing that really caused this, and it's this supply. Can we refine that down? Okay, we can use this 2 minute supply. Put our order there. Okay, it's a little bit bigger than 2 pips. Let's see what we can get, what we can refine it to. I'd be looking to take 2 pips here, so I'd place my entry here. 2.2 is fine. I don't really want to be going to 2.5. I'm not going to take 50% either, because this wick is likely to see a reaction, and it could just come tap into here and then come off. So yeah, I would, instead of going 2.7, I'd go 2.2 and just play it safe. So yep, that's my order set. So if we tapped into this demand, I would then delete my order. Okay, so I delete this order. We've hit take profit, and we've banked 15, 21 and 12R. Obviously we took half off here, so I'll let you do the math. But yep. Then what happens in the afternoon? So this is 9:30. Yeah, so I'll still be trading here. I trade from 7 AM till 10 AM, and then 12 PM till 3 PM. So I'll be looking for a hedge here based on this. So as we are in a refined zone, I believe. Okay, so we're in this 1 minute refined POI, which means that I can take a 15-second entry if one presents. So we come tap in. I generally don't know what happened here. I can't remember, so I'm just going to play it by ear. Okay, so we push off. You can say this is a cotch, but it's not very clear. I'll be looking more at this. Okay, so we've tapped into this supply. Okay. Okay, so we get a reaction and then a straight follow through. So what I'd do is I would be placing my order on this demand that caused the supply to fail. $1.7 pips. Okay, price comes down, tags us in, mitigates the EQ. And we get taken out. That's fine. So we'll delete that, I'll journal it, then delete it. So what did price come and mitigate? Looks like it just came to sweep our entry. Not a problem, happens, you know. Okay, yep, didn't miss anything. So now we can go up a time frame to the 5 minute. And we came up, tapped into the supply. This hasn't failed yet, so I'm going to see what happens here. Okay, just going to go down a time frame. Now, still not failed. Okay, the reaction point is now failed, so I would be looking at an entry here, which is what caused the failure. I'd cover that 1.5 pips. Boom, tap in and run away. So targets, as we're still counter trend here, I'd be looking to target this next supply. A nice 5 minute supply here. Yeah, no TP1, just straight target. And boom. Oh, is that a tap in? Okay, 7 minute was cleaner. But yeah, we tap in. I'll take that. I probably would have refined it to something clean. 15 minutes clean. I do like to take profits at the higher time frame POI. So for me, 15 minute is the best when taking profits. For example, this 15 minute here, because obviously the refined POIs don't always get hit. So if you're looking like I just did there to take it at the 5 minute POI and you miss it by a tick, I mean you're going to be hitting yourself. So it's always better to take it at the higher time frame POIs. You don't have to go too high like the hour, but definitely go to at least the 15 minutes when it comes to taking profits. If you're feeling risky, you can always refine it and then hold to that POI, or take partials at the open of the 15 minutes and then hold the rest to this take profit. But you're only banking an extra 2 R there, so it's up to you if it's worth it. For me, I'd rather just take my profits, have a day, call it a day there. So yeah. So as you can see, we tap in. We get a straight cotch, no flip. So sweeping these highs and leaving an unmitigated supply. Okay, let me get rid of that. Okay, so we leave behind an unmitigated supply, cotch and flip. So we can place our order here. $2 pips. Probably cover this a little bit. 2 point. 2 pips. What happens? We come down, miss our order, and this is going down to breaking multiple structure. So what I'd do is I'd delete my order, and if price does come back into this supply, I'd be happy to take a position, but I'd go down to a 5-second and wait for a reaction first, just to confirm that it's not going to plough straight through. Okay, so we come up, almost tap in, not quite. Okay, going to go back a bit. So we get some inducement. We then come up, tap in, no reaction yet, so I'd wait for something to tell me it's going to turn bearish. And yeah, that would be a reaction for me. Yeah, it's enough for me to place an order there. Obviously you can confirm it with a 5-second flip and cotch, but for me this is a really good zone. It's the extreme point that it could come to before heading down, so I'd be looking to place my order here. Okay, we've tagged in, price comes down, comes back up, liquidates my entry, and we run down. Okay, cool. So obviously first target 4R, take off 20% partials. Okay, next target for this, it's now 2 o'clock. I finished trading at 3 and I've already got these positions here. I won't be looking to take anything further, and this low is weak for me, so what I'd do is I take my profits here. I don't want to swing it down to anything down here because we've had a strong reaction off of this demand, and we can see that we're not likely to run this within the next hour, so I'm just going to take my profits at this low, call it a day, see what happens. Okay, boom. TP hits. And yeah, that's the day's price action for me. Total, we've got 15, 21, I need a calculator for this. So 15, 21, add 12, add 10, add, let's say 9, 67R. Yeah, so that's not a bad day really. Didn't take all these like I said, but I'd like to show you what the strategy is capable of, and what can happen if you just stick to the charts and put the time in really. It does take a lot of time in front of the screen, but yeah, the more you do it, the more you start to see things that you normally wouldn't see, and yeah, it all clicks in eventually. Stick at it, and yeah, if you like this, give me a thumbs up, comment, whatever, subscribe, and yeah, see you in the next one.